We've discussed how the Federal Open Market Committee of the Federal Reserve can take open market operations to increase or change the money supply. So this really, we're looking at changes in the supply of money. And there's a few different ways that they can do this, but we're going to kind of cover the main way that they will look at changing the supply of money. So if we think here about government bonds, these are the T-bills and the Treasury notes that we've discussed before. And these are the things that are sold by the United States. These are bonds that are sold by the United States Treasury to finance operations of the United States government. We've talked about how these are very safe bonds. We've talked about how the interest rate is very low on these bonds, precisely because we know that the federal government is a pretty safe investment. It's the largest economy in the world, and that we have the ability to tax our individuals, our citizens, to pay back our loans. And so most of the world looks at these loans, looks at these bonds as almost risk-free. So there's a few different things that the Federal Reserve can do to change the money supply. And what I want to first consider is, well, what happens if they choose to buy bonds, right? Buy bonds. Well, so if the Federal Reserve chooses to buy bonds, what are they going to do? They are going to take money, right? And they are going to buy, what are they going to do? They're going to buy bonds. Who currently has the bonds if they buy them on the open market? They're not going to buy them from the government per se. They're going to buy them from individuals who are currently holding these government bonds. And so they will buy these bonds from the public, right? Buy from the public, from individuals who are holding these long-term Treasury notes. And what would they do? Well, they're going to purchase it. What happens here? The Fed, right? The Federal Reserve will get a government bond. Will get the bond, and the individual, right? Individual will get money. They will be paid by the Federal Reserve for that bond. And this money right here, right, the individuals will get money, and across the entire economy they will do this a number of times over, and this will increase the money supply. The individuals getting the money, this is going to produce extra dollars in the economy, and so the result of buying bonds is that it would increase the money supply. We can think about the exact opposite as well. What happens if the Federal Reserve decides to take some of the bonds that it has and it decides to sell those bonds? Well, obviously, it's kind of just the exact opposite that's going to happen here. So if they're going to sell bonds, who are they going to sell the bonds from? Well, the government's not going to purchase them. So they're going to sell them, right? They're going to sell them to the public, to individuals who want to purchase those bonds for any number of reasons that they might want to do. Maybe they want to diversify their portfolio, or maybe they're looking for safer, less risky ways to put money or to employ their money. And so they're going to sell these bonds to the public. And what happens here? Well, the public will get the bonds, right? The public will purchase the bond. And what's going to happen here? Well, if the public purchase the bonds, they have to give the federal government money. So who will get the money? The Fed, right, will get the dollars. And these dollars will be going away from individuals and towards the Federal Reserve. And as a result of this type of policy of selling bonds, this type of policy would reduce the money supply. And so these are the main two ways that the Federal Reserve and the Federal Open Market Committee can choose to make changes in the supply of money.